kiln opening today, a big one. Okay, this is my Potter's Journal for St. Patrick's Day 2024, hoping for a bit of the luck of the Irish. Yes, it may be dumb luck. Here's what I'm trying. Got, I don't know how many new glazes, about 3 or 4, maybe more goals. One is to encourage you not to pay $25, more or less, for little jugs of water, glaze, when you can buy it dry for only about 5, maybe 8 for the same thing. You add the water yourself. Also, something I need, I'm looking for a glaze that will not be salt glaze, but mimic kind of the colors as this piece does from Westerwald Pottery, a place where I once used to work years ago for a short period of time. Also, I need a, what do you call that, a creamy tan. This one was discontinued as a commercial glaze. I've not found one that I like or come up with one of my own. So there's a lot more I'm looking for too here. Let's see what's in the kiln today. Now this thing here is what I've been doing for a long time now. Looks okay to me, but the question is why? Why? After a year or more of perfect kiln openings, would I even put myself through this? Okay, this is the pale seaweed. Some of this kiln load is really to test the thickness of the glaze. It's really not thick enough there. But here's a test I did of pale seaweed a couple years back. And okay, you can see the thickness of the glaze makes a big difference. I don't use a hydrometer because, yeah, so many reasons. Do you want me to hear it again? Now, this is over a slip. I don't know if it was over a black or a white slip. This will be the next kiln load testing. I will do all of these glazes over this. But let's see what's in the kiln today. Now, most of the pieces in here are small tests. I don't know why. I put some on some pieces that you saw me struggle with getting the lids to fit in a last video. A few of these glazes are my own. This is a waster glaze I use. And this is with the Sea Mist, an old glaze I've been using, over top of it. So it, whatever you call that, breaks kind of nicely as opposed to being a solid kind of aqua-y blue like it is up here. So the layering is something that when mastered can work out good for you. And okay, here it is, another glaze. Okay, I said we're my own, the green glaze, this time with the pale seaweed over top of it. But it didn't seem, it's very thin, and also here. So yeah, nothing to talk about. And here's the question as to why you put yourself through this. This is what I've worked out. The Sea Mist with a black slip comb through. What I've been doing for the last year and a half, only using about 3 glazes. But it was time to not change things up a bit, but see what we could find. And so the Sea Mist that I've been using versus standard ceramics, and here's the new one, Mediterranean Mist. Now, once again, I think this time I got the glaze just the right thickness, but when you pour it in here and try to get it to all parts without pouring out of those holes for a yarn bowl, it had plenty of time to soak into a very thick, because I make these thick so they're not delicate as when used as a yarn bowl. It sponged up a lot of the glaze. So when used, again, I think I have the right thickness on the glaze. And this on the bottom, okay, I was looking for a new creamy tan from Standard Ceramics, not even available on the website yet, is Pink Shadow. And I'm happy to say, which I had a sense, it's not pink. Okay. But, and it's a bit glossy. Also, I think a bit thick, or I could have given it an extra dip thinking it was thin. We'll have to see. But back to, okay, what I recommend, finding 3 glazes maybe 5 that you like. Getting to know them and using them over and over again. Tests, glaze tests, and more tests. These are the tests. Let me walk you back just a minute to show you how I laid this out. And here in my Potter's Journal is how I laid out the tests. Commercial glazes, iron red, grape, and Mediterranean mist on the inside and over top of, on the lower part outside. Snow on brick, okay, waster, I did use one of my own glazes. Pink shadow, pale seaweed, molten green transparent celadon. All you can get from standard and save as opposed to the jars with the water in it. So I know where it's at in the kiln. Okay, 3rd shelf down, the testers and where they're at. 4th shelf down, testers where they're at. And more on the bottom, so we'll know what's what. Maybe this we'll get to next year. Okay, so this first group is the celadon. And I think we're going to line these up the way they were when they were put together as tests and look at them here at the end. Okay, and according to the notes, this is the pale seaweed. Oops, not that one. But this is, and again, it's too thin. But just quickly, I did double dip the bottom, so it needs to be drained off quite a bit of water to get it just right. And the 3 in the middle, according to the notes, are the molten green transparent. Okay, and it didn't need the double dip. Now the question is, here again, after you go through sorting out a glaze and really get to know it, it's not a bad idea to use it again and again. Okay, I think too many potters are just experimenting forever and never settling on something. So, okay, a great way to move past the amateur phase. Find something you like, learn how to use it, and use it again. And maybe even again and again. Oh, Sam, Ralph always knew when I talked to the camera to just yawn and lay down. But you don't know that. And from the last shelf, this is Rooster Hill Pottery. I love working with the slips. So, but here's the glaze I'm looking to replace. On the bottom, the snow on brick. And hopefully the pink shadow, okay, might be able to step in for it. Again, we'll line these all up and look at them at the end, because that's the way we're in here. And this is, and this is my waster glaze, which I've got buckets full. But again, the question is, why? When you've got something that works. Okay, doesn't the amateur just use it? There's always that look for the greener grass. And I thought you might be getting bored of seeing me pull the same things out of the kiln all the time. And a year of successes. So, we have moved on to total disasters. What a mess. Now this one was reclaimed clay. It had something that burnt out of the sides, so it was on the way to the to the shard bin. But I thought we would just dip and layer. How come I just can't do it like Janice the Potter? I will put a link to her channel because she must have a million of these things. And I guess it really comes down to doing a million tests to really work out and master the glaze layer thing. Okay, what else is in here? Okay, these we will look at. These are hopefully going to be what I will decide to use for my crock and jugs with the blue slip. And this is the combination I was using. So a combination I've been using for so long, with the snow on brick on the bottom, over top of a black slip, and the sea mist on the inside and overlapping a bit. Since the snow on brick has been discontinued, this is the new one, Pink Shadow from Standard. Now I think it's a bit too thick. Hopefully it too will allow the black slip to show through. And this is, I'll have to do the video coming up sometime, the Standard Sea Mist versus their Mediterranean Mist. We will have to do the challenge. Maybe I'll do half mugs with one, half with the other, and see what sells first. Okay, which do you prefer? And these are the tests. You know, a detailed reading may really be worthy of another video. But briefly, this is grape from Standard Ceramics. And this is iron red. And the reading is important. I think it was a bit thin here. I do use them that way often because on the Mediterranean mist, similar to the sea mist I've been using, I like the way it breaks over finger marks and textures. So those are the glazes I used inside, the three that overlapped the glaze that is on the bottom and underneath. So 3 inside and then 6 on the bottom outside with the inside one layered over top. And the first is, these are all from Standard Ceramics, mostly that's a celadon. And this is the molten green transparent. This is seaweed. Okay, is that what it is? It's too thin, and this is why we will come back with another video on reading the glazes. The bottom I did double dip, so it's thicker, and I think it could be way thicker yet. But there's times when you may want what's here too. So this is what we will come back for, and reading the glazes, how to change them. It's a glaze of my own, a waster glaze, a collection of all the glazes that I sweep up off the floor. And this is one that they call Pink Shadow. And I think I'm very happy, except it's a high gloss, because I needed a replacement for their discontinued. And here's why I sometimes didn't like it. Snow on brick. So I will say stop back next week and we will read and study the tests in detail, figure out, you know, what you do after you test the glaze, what changes you may make, how you might use it, what you were looking for, what you discovered that you may not have expected. Stop back and see what's going on in the studio next week.